I've done quite a few videos now where I'm packing my rucksack for a trip. However, in this video, I'm going to show you what I do when I come back from a camping trip, how I look after and store my gear. So that's the pack for my latest camping trip. First things first, I get rid of the rubbish that I brought home with me. So this had my food packaging and that kind of stuff. Any cans and things like that all get separated and then put in the relevant recycle bins. I use one of these washing airing racks. So get that set up there. I take out anything that might be a bit wet. That's not bad actually. My grab jacket. That can go on the coat hook. Things like spices, broken tripod, that'll have to be binned. Stick that up on the shelf there. I keep oil things in little plastic bags just in case they leak. Water bottles. So these I just rinse them out. I always put a couple of drips of bleach in and then leave them to soak for a while and then air them out to dry. My jet boil skillet, put that on there for a minute. So the main things that need looking after are your sleeping bag and tent, things like that. You don't want them to get mouldy or anything. Got a down jacket. Going to chuck that on this rack. Put the tent to one side. So this is my bag with all my electricals in and tools and things like that. So anything that's in here, I'll just lay these out on the table. Because they're sometimes a little bit damp, like that's got a little bit of water on it, so we'll just let them air out and dry. So once everything's empty, get my dry bag, I turn it inside out. I'll just clip that on there as well. So I've got quite a few electrical items and I don't charge these up yet. I wait till a couple of days before I'm going camping and then give everything a bit of a charge. Same with headlamps and things like that. I will show you where all these go once they've dried out for a bit. So my stove, I always open that up and separate it because sometimes I have like little cloths and things in here and if they're damp, you get rusty gas canisters, marks on your pot, things like that. You might be able to see a bit of a mark inside the pot there, look. Just give that a bit of a wipe out. And then paper towel, and just dry it off. And then I'll leave that, like everything else, just to stand for a few hours at least. Water in the bottom of there, look. Gonna have to get a vacuum out after this, I think. Hang them on there. When I've got all this sorted out, I will give you a look around the shelves, see how much gear I need to get rid of. Pillow, thermarest bag, pump sack, mucky cup, so that'll need a wipe out. And you got it, just leave everything to dry. I don't do anything fancy with the tent pegs. I know a lot of people like to clean all the mud and that off, but I don't bother. Just open the bag just to let some air through it and then stick them on the bench to dry. So any sort of dry bag just gets hung up somewhere to air out. Pillow can just go there. Running out of room on the shelf though. So before I sort the tent and the sleeping bag out, quick thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring the video today. So you might already know that I use Squarespace for my website and for the messner.co.uk domain. So me and Joe have never done any sort of web design before, but Squarespace made it really easy for us to set up our own online shop, share blogs, all of that kind of thing. So the ready-made templates make things really easy. You just upload your photos, add a bit of text, and within an hour you can build a website. Everything can be customized so you can make it look just how you want it. In the last couple of weeks we've given customers the ability to add reviews to the website, and adding that gives your customers the confidence that they're getting a good service. If you want to have a go at making a website of your own, click the link in the description below or head over to squarespace.com/Paul Messner. You'll get a totally free trial and 10% off your first purchase. Right, let's get this quilt on the go. Yeah, it still feels a tiny bit damp from the camp. Get that fluffed up, opened up as much as I can, and then that just goes over the top of the area. I'll leave it for a couple of days now I've got the space. Just put that inside out and then just leave that to dry. You can go in the wash. The coat hangers come in really handy. You can do this with sleeping bags as well, so you just put it around your hood area, hang your sleeping bag up and allow it to dry that way. So these things used to be like hanging over banister rails at home or hanging from the wardrobe. So now I've got this bigger space and I haven't got everything at home. Still a few bits and bobs, but I don't get into trouble so much for leaving my camping gear lying around the house. So things again like my Garmin, I don't charge them up until I'm ready to need them. Just check these pockets, see what we've got in here. Another torch that will need charging next time. Yeah, so having a big table really comes in handy. So the poles, so I don't do anything special with these either. I just open the bag a little bit, put them to one side normally. Everything in here gets emptied out, so we've got lighters, knives, spoons, all that kind of stuff. All that needs a clean. And just leave it to dry for next time. So once the bag's emptied out, just hang it up against the racking like that. Alright, let's have a look at the tent. So again, it's only a little bit wet. I dried most of it off before it went in. I used to hang this over a washing line in the big shed, or I would hang it over the banister at home. Joe definitely wasn't up for that though. Tent bag upside down, sorry, inside out. We'll just hook that on there, just leave it to air. I'm going to use the poles so that I've got room now to set this up, which is probably the best way to dry it out, to be honest with you. Still water on the tent, look. You can do this in your garden, you know, on a nice warm day. So you get home from your wet camp and just give it some time in some fresh air when the weather's milder. Don't leave it too long though, because wet tents, if you leave them packed away like that, you'll get mould or mildew on them. That's not good for your health, it's not good for your tent, and basically it'll be ruined. So I didn't use the cross poles on this trip, but it does make pitching indoors so much easier. You don't have to go to the extreme of fully pitching it in the house. But what this does is it gives plenty of air around your tent. So also in between these layers. So if everything in there was still wet with condensation and you just laid it over your banister, for example, you might still get some moisture trapped in there, which could turn to mildew or mould. Obviously the best thing to do is dry your tent out thoroughly before you pack it away, and then you haven't got to bother doing this, but it's not always possible when it's raining. You can also give it a wipe down as well, which speeds up the process. So I can't stress enough how important it is to look after your gear. I've had 1 or 2 comments that saying that all these gear's brand new, never uses it. I do use it, but I also take care of it. It costs a lot of money, and you can't afford to replace a tent like a Scarp 1 just because you haven't looked after it properly and allowed it to get mouldy. I'm also lucky enough now to have some decent shelving for my gear. Everything used to be in plastic boxes and all stacked in on top of each other. And that could mean that some more delicate items could get damaged, and you couldn't always find exactly where things are. So now I've got everything laid out. I know where it is. If I want my jet boil, I go to it straight away. If I need a knife or a spoon or whatever, I know where they are. So I've also got a shelf now for my camera stuff, because I've got loads of this stuff lying around the house. Microphones galore, gimbal, which I never really use, GoPros, but to be fair, most of the time I just take my phone, GoPro Hero 10, I've got 2 of those that I take now, and the recording device for the audio, so I don't need gimbals and all that kind of stuff. Simple is better for me. So I'm going to leave these for today, but what normally would happen next is I'd build my stove back up together, and then it would go in its spot on the shelf. There's room there for my tent. I think I'll probably squeeze another one in there. I reckon the MLD dual mid will squeeze in there nicely. Sleeping bags. So I've got this big sack here, that's where my quilt is going to go. I don't store my bags compressed, as you can see. Loads of space for the down to expand. It's not good for your bag to store it in a compressed state. Sleeping pad will get rolled up and then just put in there along with the pillow. Got a bit of room on that shelf there, so I'm not sure what I'm going to put there yet. All my outdoor coats go on here. I'll allow my gloves to dry out and air, and they'll go back on the shelf as well. Oh, I've been asked about this. This is the Petzl lantern that I use. So it's actually meant to put your head torch in. I didn't realise. I thought this was the lantern when I bought it. So all I've got in is my little O-light torch, which I switch on and I put in there and then close it. But like, it is designed for a Petzl torch or headlamp, which you put in there and then you can actually switch it on and off with this button. I might pick one up, but at the minute this works fine for me, and I do like my O-light headlamp, so I'm not in a rush to replace that. I've got a bag full of GoPro batteries, wind protectors, memory cards, all that kind of stuff. Batteries will be charged the day before the next video. I don't think it's good for batteries to have them fully charged all the time, so you're better off just keeping them in a lower level, and then when you want them, charge them up. I'm debating what to use on the next trip. Let me know in the comments if you see anything in here that you want to see. This has been hard to get hold of lately, gas. So I've got a good supply of that now. Plenty of food. That's how I clean, dry and store my camping gear when I come back from a trip. So I know there's some of you out there that's got more gear than me. I would love to know how you store it and how you look after it. Make sure to hit the like button, really does help the channel out. And if you want to see some more gear, make sure to watch this video up here.